It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. All right, where we starting, Yee?
Let's start with Derek Chauvin. He was found guilty of all three charges for killing George Floyd. That is second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. He could face up to 40 years in prison for the second-degree murder, up to 25 years for third-degree, and up to 10 years for manslaughter. Now, here is what Kamala Harris had to say about this verdict.
A measure of justice isn't the same as equal justice. This verdict brings us a step closer. We still must reform the system. Last summer, I introduced the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. This bill would hold law enforcement accountable and help build trust between law enforcement and our communities. The President and I will continue to urge the Senate to pass this legislation, not as a panacea for every problem, but as a start.
That's right. I mean, that's the only thing that's going to truly change things. They got to implement some type of policy. George Floyd Policing Act. Like, police have to be held accountable for these type of situations all the time. It can't just be a one-off like yesterday.
And once the guilty verdict was read, Derek Chauvin wrote on his hand his attorney's number. Everybody was wondering what was he writing on his hand because he knew his bill was about to be revoked also. And there are still three other officers facing charges. They're expected to be tried together in August, and that is for aiding and abetting second-degree murder and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. Now, as far as Derek Chauvin, his sentencing will be in 8 weeks, and the things they will take into consideration is George Floyd's murder taking place in front of a child, the power dynamic between the officers and the civilians, and that will all be taken into consideration when it comes to sentencing Derek Chauvin. Here is what President Joe Biden had to say.
It was a murder in the full light of day, and it ripped the blinders off for the whole world to see. The systemic racism the Vice President just referred to. The systemic racism is a stain on our nation's soul. Today's verdict is a step forward. We can't stop here. In order to deliver real change and reform, we can and we must do more to reduce the likelihood that tragedies like this will ever happen and occur again.
Why don't they say that type of stuff in the beginning? I think it's the stupidest thing in the world that they don't let elected officials speak their mind on those type of cases. All this time we think they don't really care, when the reality is they aren't allowed to speak on those cases.
I never knew that.
I didn't know that either, but F that. I want to know you care. I want to know you give a damn. Let me know that you know what's right and what's wrong. Like, I don't want to hear that after the fact. Say that beforehand.
So elected officials are never able to talk about cases?
I don't know the exact rule, but I know they got mad at Joe Biden earlier this week when he said, that he hopes that they make the right verdict in this situation. And then they got mad at Congressman Maxine Waters because they said that elected officials shouldn't speak on those type of things because it could sway the jury or something like that. But who cares? Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Because we got mad at Barack Obama, but if he wasn't able to, then that makes things a lot different.
But I think it's stupid that they're not able to. Like, there are elected officials. They're the people that we elect to lead this country. Yeah, I want to know that you know right from wrong, that you care about what's going on out here in these streets.
Well, George Floyd's brother, Philonise Floyd, who testified about George Floyd at the trial, said the verdict was personal. For him, he said, "I feel relieved today that I finally have the opportunity for hopefully getting some sleep. A lot of days that I prayed and I hoped and I was speaking everything into existence. I said I have faith that he will be convicted."
Well, he was right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wait and see what happens 8 weeks from now. And let's also not forget that there are three other officers who still have to go to trial that's taking place in August.
And all of them should be held accountable because if Derek Chauvin committed murder, then they're all accessories to murder. They're all accomplices. They sat there and watched it happen. That's why Carriel's law that, Carriel Horn got passed in Buffalo is so important to get passed nationwide because it holds officers accountable who don't intervene in situations like that. So, yes, they all need to be held accountable.
Watching that, you just want something more to happen.
Well, that's what we want, policy.
We want, and not only policy, like to Derek Chauvin, like you just want something more to happen.
He's probably gonna kill himself. What's the over under? What y'all think?
And what's gonna happen in jail?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just want something more to happen. Like just the guilty. Yes, that's great, but you just want something more.
You want him to get beat up.
Yeah,
you want him to get. You want to see him violated. I can see his
face and just like and with that ego and pride. Yes, you want him. I want him violated. Like you like.
I'm gonna tell you something though. Guilty on all charges, it's violation. Okay,
yes, it is.
He earned every single one of those. All right, if he gets 50, 60 years in jail, that's pretty damn good.
All right, well, that is your front page news.
I think he's going to kill himself, though. What's the over-under? Somebody placing any bets? Nothing. You got 5 on it, Nick? Okay.
All right.
All right.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. Phone lines are open. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.